Okay. All right. Refresh this thing. Oh my gosh. It, oh crap. I just ruined everything. I somehow turned off my chat or my video or something. What the heck just happened? Okay, dismiss that. Go there. What the heck? Okay. There we go. Go here. All right. So, somehow, using my phone, looking at the stocks for the day, I tossed my phone down, it hit my keyboard, and turned off my video, my live stream. Okay, well, I am my own cat today, apparently. And there we go. We're back. Monkey. What do I do? So anyway, Jerome Powell was talking, and he sort of did like the wink, 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 expect some more severe raising of interest rates. And so the market went, oh no! But really that's what the market should be doing. They should be holding on to their butts. So there we go. And the other big thing is Ryan Cohen, tweeted hello in Chinese. And a lot of folks seem to think that when Ryan Cohen talks about China, it's an anagram for Icahn, and that's what he's really referring to. There's also an account, a small account that people, I think, are associated with Ryan Cohen. I'm not sure. I don't really know. But he keeps getting retweeted a lot, and I see it's like RC CEO something or other, and only has like 600 followers. But people seem to think it's an alt account that Ryan Cohen has made. So they put a lot of emphasis onto that. Meh. Wait, go. Damn it, you stupid computer. Do your thing. There we go. So, if you had commented any questions in the previous stream that I accidentally somehow closed, by all means, throw your questions in here, because now I don't have anything to go off of for the regular question period of the show. So, we'll get through the first bit of everyone making fun of me for being an idiot. And it's a shame when you're taking a union job away from Chalupa. Oh, goodness gracious. Take a sip of water. Stare off into space for a moment. Backside Birth Houston, don't ever change. Snort alert. Crypto crashes here when BTC hits $1,000. I think it's possible. No good news has come out at all about Tether. And we all know how much Tether is tied into essentially the entire crypto market. And that market, I don't think, can survive Tether finally imploding. I mean, just think about, like, 50 to 80% of all purchases of Bitcoin were made using Tether, right? The idea behind Tether was you give your cash to this group, they take that cash, put it in a bank account where it earns interest or whatever. And then they give you a digital coin worth the exact same amount of cash you gave them. And then you can use that coin digitally in the digital realm, the crypto realm, to purchase stuff. And, when you want your money back, you give the digital coins back, they give you your cash back, done, right? Except we have evidence that the folks behind Tether, and we don't know who they are, they're anonymous, they printed billions of dollars in Tether without ever taking the cash for it. And then they gave that Tether to Binance, to FTX, to other crypto platforms, to hedge funds, and they let them use that on a one-to-one basis to purchase whatever they wanted on the crypto market. They basically did your naked shorting of the US dollar via these Tether coins. And, Scott. Sorry, one sec. Getting phone calls here. Back. Doing a show. There we go. All right. And these crypto guys made a whole bunch of purchases with nothing. It was fake. Like, why didn't I think of that? All I have to do is make a crypto coin, say it's tethered to $1, and then print as many as I want, a la the Federal Reserve, and just buy things. I'll buy that, and I'll buy that, and I'll buy that. And you can do it over and over and over and over and over. And then you can sell that Bitcoin for real money. And then get the hell out. So that's what we're sitting on. And when that finally implodes, and we're seeing a lot more volatility in Tether, it's starting to depeg more often. It's going to crash the entire thing. It'll wipe out every crypto investor in existence. So, snort alert, I think Bitcoin hitting $1,000 is very real when Tether finally implodes. Chad McGruff, happy birthday, Houston. Stoked you made a short clip of my moon question. I'm not anti-double impact origin, just extremely inquisitorial. Why haven't we explored the moon's dark side? Couldn't we spin it? It would take a lot of energy to spin the moon, more than we could probably ever produce as a planet. It's tidally locked, so its face will be facing us at all times. The reason why we haven't explored the dark side of the moon is because it's scary. So we have the Chinese put a little rover on the dark side of the moon, which is dead now, although they haven't announced it, but it hasn't moved in like a year and a half. What we need around the moon is a communication system, so that we have satellites that are at certain orbits around the moon that can broadcast information back to the Earth that are relayed from the surface on the dark side. It's because it's radio blackout on the dark side of the moon because we don't have any relay stations. So it's going to be very expensive to set up enough satellites around the moon to make exploring the dark side at this point feasible. It's much easier, much safer for astronauts to be on the near side, on the face that faces us, than it is to go on the dark side. We've mapped it. We've got pictures and things like that. It's just that when objects go on the other side of the moon, it's radio silent for that period of time. Kellerus, why is it that most Americans seem to visit Denmark when they visit the Nordic countries? I don't know. I've never been to Denmark. I've only been to Iceland and Norway. What's in Denmark? Copenhagen? Legos? A bunch of Lego fans, maybe? I don't know. Why else would you go to Denmark, monkey? She doesn't know. She's just gave me side eye. But and I'd love to visit Denmark someday. You guys are, got public transit, great minimum wage, excellent healthcare system. Seems pretty put together to me. Paul V, where's my MMTLP money? In probably bank accounts in the Caymans, be my guess. Chub McGruff, I would totally volunteer to be on the first moon settlement. I'm so over everything that's just going on here on Terra. I'm just so over it. So if you know anyone, help hook that up. Do me a solid, please. I would suggest that if there is going to be settlements on the moon, that we probably should negotiate in international court about limiting the amount of time people spend on the moon. So like, I don't know, 3 months over the course of their entire life and no more than 6 weeks at a time. Simply because what it does to you physiologically is you can't bounce back from it. The amount of bone density you lose, the muscle atrophy, the swelling in the brain, all sorts of stuff that can happen in those low gravity environments. That if you do get back to Earth, it takes so much physical therapy to get over, like, the handicap you have from that low gravity environment, and you're just getting bombarded by galactic cosmic rays all day long too. So it's not the best place to go spend the rest of your days, unless you intend the rest of your days to not be that long, and full of like mutating cancers and stuff. So plus, historical analogy, you know, if we're using the moon for resources, we're using it to get helium-3 creep, which is potassium, rare earth elements, and phosphorus. If we're using it to get that stuff out of the surface of the moon and sending it back to the Earth to be used, if there's multiple generations growing up on the moon, they're going to start to resent the colonizers, which are the humans, and they're going to see themselves as separate from humanity, and they're going to say, why are we sending all this crap? We're getting the short end of the stick, screw you, and we're going to have a Earth-Moon war, just like we had every other war between colonizers and the colonists we've ever seen. And so you just can't make multiple generations on the moon. That's just it. You just short term. That's how it's got to roll. Josh Pep, Tennessee. Happy birthday, Houston. What are a few examples of things we would be hearing in the news for economic crash, or which persons will be most affected? I would look at lots of talk about home foreclosures, car repos, bankruptcies. Those are probably big three things to look at. I would look at layoffs from corporations, bankruptcies of corporations, especially right now, big real estate firms. Those ones are going to be like canaries in the coal mine. You know, those guys defaulting on giant loans, like you're seeing downtown LA, the $770 million in loans that were defaulted on. I would look at real estate especially, because real estate's inflated. Interest rates are way too high, and people can't buy it. You can't use it. And commercial real estate is collapsing so hard. San Francisco has like 27 million square feet of empty retail space. It's like 30% of all the retail space, or their commercial space. And they used to have 4% vacancy. Now it's sitting at 30. So these cities are desperately trying to figure out, like, okay, if we can't get people back into offices, maybe we could turn all these offices into apartment buildings. There's been more action on that in like LA. They're trying to start doing it in San Francisco. The only city that's really made a big move I've seen recently is Calgary, Alberta. They had something similar. It was like 30% vacancies, and they converted like 8 million square feet into condos and apartments. And people moved into downtown as a result of the flood of cheap housing, and made downtown much more vibrant. Here in Seattle, there's talk about, there's like an 8-block area that is the King County complex. It's got the court and the jail and administrative offices and things like that. And they're talking right now about redeveloping that entire area. So they'd still have the administration and all those things in there, but with new structures that would have like tons of housing to increase drastically the number of people living in downtown Seattle, which has a pretty good number of folks that live down there. 30 years ago, it was like 25,000 people live in downtown Seattle, and everyone else was in sort of the outskirts around downtown. And now there's a couple 100,000 that live there. More housing units have been built in downtown Seattle in the last 6 years than in the previous 50. So they're building the housing. What they don't quite have yet is a lot of the support infrastructure. By that I mean like grocery stores, drugstores, things like that people who live downtown, you know, we don't have like a bodega culture in Seattle. So there are these like little mini marts everywhere for each block. I mean, that's what they have in Paris as well. It's like you go to Paris, every block is exactly the same. There's a brasserie on both ends, restaurants both ends. In between, you have pharmacist, bodega, a couple of little shops. And you go across the street, same thing. You go one block over, same exact thing. Every single solitary block is exactly the same that way. So that you can walk out of your house and you have everything you need within 100 feet in either direction. American cities outside of like New York don't really have that same type of privatized infrastructure for supporting populations. So I think one of the things that a lot of these cities need to look at is ways of feeding the people who live downtown. Like they can't just go to restaurants every day of their lives. They sometimes have to go buy boxes of cereal and other things. So figuring out how to get grocery stores and, mini marts everywhere is probably a good thing. Right now, though, because we don't have, our national healthcare system, is that downtown areas are also where the services are for the homeless. And the homeless are everywhere. And that makes people, not want to invest in building a new drugstore or grocery store or whatever, because theft goes through the roof because these people are desperate. So, if we want to, Scott's here.
I grabbed my shit. I apologize.
Woo! All right. Scott picked up his shit. No way. Get back in here. I know. Yeah, come on. See, but, if we're going to try to improve these urban areas in the country, we have to improve sort of our social safety net in general for all these folks. So, commercial real estate is going to, if you want to help commercial real estate, help people. There you go. It's all woven. It's all connected. It's all like a nice little lattice that is tied together. So, okay. That was a long ways from Pet Pal's question. But which person is most affected? People most affected are going to be those directly invested into these things. But usually they've got money squirreled away in offshore bank accounts. So if they lose $1 billion, they still have $1 billion hidden somewhere else. The ones that are always affected the most are the low-rung folks who are tied to this stuff. Real estate agents, mortgage brokers, people who clean houses, furniture makers, whatever. Like those folks are going to be hit hardest. And they may not have the same sort of trampoline, parachute, whatever you want to call it. It's protecting them from when the bottom falls out that the rich folks will have. So, there'll be some rich people who are completely wiped out because they didn't know that they should squirrel away cash into secret offshore bank accounts. So you'll see their homes get seized and sold and whatnot. And you'll probably see a couple of low-rung folks go to prison for mortgage scams or whatever else that happened during these things. But, yeah. Okay. Chud McGruff, Killerus. Chud McGruff talking about the moon. Jason Blackwell, Houston. I was reading a story about a bartender at Tombstone. A three-legged dog walked into the bar and said, "I'm looking for the man who shot my paw." That's an old one. That is such an old one. Man. Look for the man who shot my paw. J-Dog, go Mariners. Go Mariners. It's happening. We're a month away from the season here. Macro Turf. If the Fed scrapped the US dollar for this SRD. SRD? Is this the digital dollar thing? SRD. All I'm seeing for SRD is the dollar from Suriname. I don't know what SRD stands for. Some other dollar? Super radical dollar? I don't know what that means, MacroTurf. You have to spell SRD for me. Because I know the central bank digital currency, CBDCs, that people are starting to use for transferring money between central banks. But I don't know what SRT is. Citizen 54, Houston, what's going on with Silvergate? Is this the first domino, or are we still playing? Put some paper down and ignore. Silvergate's toast. They're done. They were the bank doing all the transactions for these digital exchanges, and they don't have any more money. So the CEO said they're winding down operations. They're selling off what assets they have, and my guess is they'll cease to exist inside a couple of months. So, I mean, if you're a Silvergate, you're FDIC insured for cash deposits, but they're like a little tiny bank. But they were doing like hundreds of billions of dollars in transactions with digital currencies, which were not insured. Right, Monkey? They're not insured at all. Yeah, they're going to come here and say hi. They're not insured at all. So, those are what killed them. Oh, you little dog. You little dog and your scratchy little ear. It's just the best scratchy ear in the world. It is so great. Okay. It's not time yet, dude. You got like an hour and a half. An hour and a half minimum until you get to put that in your face. Oh, crap. There goes the reset. Where was I? I'm lost. Okay. It's Liddy. Hey, HW. If the yes votes win for AMC, how are we sure that Adam Aaron will sell at the right time? What about who he sells to? We aren't. What we learned from Ape is that Adam Aaron won't dilute when the price is high. He liked to wait 4 months and dilute when the price is at the absolute bottom and sell to his friends. So if we do this whole thing and we do the reverse 10 to 1, we combine the tickers, the price is, I don't know, 60, 80 bucks a share or whatever. Will he sell all those shares then? Or will he wait 7 months for them to dilute the hell out of the company and drive the price down and then sell? I don't know. I would think that if this is his entire goal, he would start selling when the price was crazy high. He hasn't been known to sell slowly at market. He sells in bulk all at once to one individual. And my guess is that he probably will stupidly do that. That's totally my opinion. But otherwise, let's be like, there was 200 million shares for sale all of a sudden, and the price just goes punk. And he does it to the retail that way, rather than be like, I'll sell a few here, I'll sell a few there, I'll sell some over here, which is what GameStop did, and never affected their price point at all when they were selling more shares. So I'm not sure, Liddy, if we can guarantee when he will sell, or how he will sell, or who he will sell to. It'd be nice if he told us. It'd be nice if he said, if you guys vote yes, I will sell at the market slowly over the next year or something, until we've raised enough money to pay off this debt. That's what I would love to hear from him, but I have a feeling that he'll just wait until the price is too low and then dump a whole bunch to some hedge fund and then absolutely just the dildo of destiny rarely comes lubed. Is that what the saying is? But that's my feeling. Tedalus, how is Sri Lanka doing? Haven't heard much lately. I haven't heard much lately either. Okay. Follow-up, Sri Lanka's economic crisis, long power cuts, food shortages. Okay, they're not doing well. Sri Lanka says positive news incoming from IMF $2.9 billion package. So hopefully that will shore up their currency a bit. But who knows what type of promises they had to make to get that loan. China promises Sri Lanka deal on debt treatment in incoming months. That's 10 months ago, or 10 hours ago. Do, 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 do. New York Times a month ago, Sri Lanka calm again. That doesn't mean things are any better. It just means that people are like hungry. So looks like Sri Lanka is starting to do things to be able to get that IMF loan. But and it looks like they're trying to clear out the corruption. Because remember, they stormed the presidential palace and like kicked the president out. So they sort of nipped that corruption bit in the bud there by going after the president's family and getting them all out of government. So hopefully the folks there will have the ability to overcome. But it does not look like things have gotten better at all. Still seems like there's food shortages. They don't have any money to spend on things like fuel, so they've got power outages. Looks like it's been a long, rough one for the folks in Sri Lanka right now. G-Font, I'm thinking of puts on the Swiss market index. Their economy has a concentration of banking risk. I mean, why not? Their central bank lost 130-something billion dollars. Credit Suisse about to go under. UBS is not doing much better. I have no idea what the canton banks, which are like the individual banks for each sort of... The cantons are like their states or counties. I don't know how it's a small country. They're little. But they have like publicly owned banks, and they pretty much work for the people in those little cantons, those little districts. But the big two are not healthy at all. UBS and Credit Suisse are not doing well. Credit Suisse especially. I don't see Credit Suisse surviving personally, and I don't know what comes out of them if they do die, because they are one of the premier Swiss banks, and Switzerland is known for bankings. So if what you're best at is dying, how do you market that in the future? I don't know. G-Fund. So it might be. Seems like a healthy bet. Not financial advice, not financial advisor. Drew, I feel terrible that I'm hoping for a market crash. I'm 23. I'm already tired of adulting. I just want to help others and zone out and learn what I want to do with my life. I hear you, man. I mean, I felt like that when I was 23. When I was 23, that would have been 2004. We're at war everywhere. Yeah, I wasn't very hopeful. My elbow had been destroyed, so baseball career was over. And I got in salmonella. So I just lost a boatload of weight and couldn't put it on for like 2 years. So I was in rough shape when I was 20. 23 sucked. 23 was a crappy year. I hear you, man. I was working at Pizza Hut, and that sucked. Ugh. So, welcome to being a jaded adult. It'll stick with you for the rest of your life. Snare alert! One coin will stay, but it will be a John Wick's Continental Hotel crime coin for killers. John Wick 4 comes out this month. In 2 weeks? So, March releases for Keanu Reeves have always worked out well. That's when The Matrix came out, was March 1999. And boy, oh boy. I remember seeing the previews for The Matrix and being like, what is this crap? And then the review came out in the Seattle Times and it was 4 stars. I was like, what? An action movie got 4 stars? And then spring break. This was my senior year of high school, spring break. Flew down to California to go hang out with my brother and his family. And my brother and I went to, Matrix got really good reviews. Let's go watch it. And we went and saw The Matrix and our faces peeled off. We went and hid in the bathrooms and then watched it again. And went and hid in the bathrooms and watched it a 3rd time. So it was incredible. And then after I graduated, I moved to San Diego. And I was living in a youth hostel while I was looking for a place to live. And while in the youth hostel, all these foreign people from the Netherlands and Spain and whatever were in the youth hostel moving in and out. And I was the only person who had a car. And I became the Matrix apostle, and I would ferry them to the Dollar Theater where we'd go watch The Matrix like every day of the week. I watched The Matrix like 30 times that summer. At one point I stopped watching The Matrix and started watching them because they'd never seen it before, and they'd just be like, what? It was awesome. It's a good summer. J-Dog moon circumference is 6,786 miles. Thank you. Also, people should check out Andy Weir's book, Artemis. Yeah, Artemis is an interesting book. I have it. Do I have it here? I know I read it. I think I have it, but I don't remember where it is. If I had it, it would be on that shelf, wouldn't it? If they gave it to somebody else. I have it somewhere. Artemis is a good read. It's written... I'd say it's a quick read. Not really a good read. I don't know. His writing style doesn't... It seems like he's trying to write a movie script when he writes his books, and it just reads... I don't know, like... a little too cutesy? I don't know how to say it. But the science he put in that book about how to mine rocks on the moon to get resources to build stuff is spot on. They're able to pull out, aluminum and other things out of the rock, and in the process, it releases a bunch of oxygen, which they then use to fuel the habitats with oxygen. And it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool process that he outlines in there. He kind of reminds me of later Arthur C. Clarke. Like Arthur C. Clarke sort of like abandoned the story of things and just like, this is an interesting scientific thing I'm going to put in this book, and then would just sort of like describe a scientific process for something, and there'd be no character development or whatever. Andy Weir's got a little more character development, but it's definitely written like it's going to be a 90-minute action film, is how he kind of writes his books these days. But I do recommend it. I think I think if you want to learn sort of the science behind mining stuff on the moon, it's a great source for that. Right, Monkey? You stupid little dog. Why are you just staring at me all the time? Why am I so interesting? Why do you guys stare at me? Because I provide the snacks, that's why. Drew, I don't own AMC, but I think Adam Aaron said he was going to ask FINRA about FTDs, but he's only doing that to get people back on his side. How foolish can people be? Him nor FINRA are here to do good for retail. I mean, he's a little late. He did mention, was it yesterday? Day before? He tweeted out, I was like, hey, AMC's been on Threshold's list for weeks now, so I'm going to ask FINRA what that's all about. It used to be if you were on Threshold's list for a long time, the market would be like, oh, no. But now it's like everybody's on the Threshold's list all the time. Stupid. Like, oh, the stock constantly has fake shares being sold all the time. Why is no one responding to this? It's like the threshold has been pushed further and further and further to the point where, like, we are that frog in boiling water. We never realized it was happening. Anna Rolnick, Houston. Why are King's Hawaiian rolls so addictive? If I bring them home to my kids, my kids will eat them within hours. Sugar. They're soft, they're fluffy, and they're full of sugar. In Hawaii, that is really good ones that were made with guava. And I totally lost my little tiki I always play with. There it is. And they were delicious. I would like make sandwiches and things out of them. So there's more out there. Tadalus. Copenhagen has Christiania, a cool hippie community with its own laws and etc. Look it up sometime. Christiania, neighborhood, Denmark. Freetown, Christiania is intentional community commune micronation. Danish capital city Copenhagen, by 1971 as a squatted military base. Its Pusher Street is famous for its open trade of cannabis, which is illegal in Denmark. No, they just don't care there, do they? Fourth largest tourist attraction in Copenhagen with 500,000 visitors annually. The residents of Christiania are called Christianit or Christianshavner and Amerkaner because Christiania is located in the island of Amergur. Okay. History. 1971 was declared open by Jacob Ludvigsen, a well-known provo and journalist who published a magazine called Hovedbladet. I probably totally butchering that, the main paper, which was intended for and successfully distributed to mostly young people in the paper. Ludvigsen wrote an article in which he and 5 others explored what he termed the Forbidden City of the Military. The article widely announced the proclamation of the Free Town, and among other things, he wrote the following under the headline, Civilians Conquer the Forbidden City of the Military. Okay. During the 80s, motorcycle gangs fought their way in, seeking to gain control over the drug market. One gang in particular, the Bullshit Gang, or the Bullshitters, managed to fight off a chapter of Hell's Angels to establish sole control of the drugs market in 84. In 87, after police found the dismembered body of a man under the floorboards of a Bullshitter bike shop inside Christiania, the Bullshitters were broken up and cleared from the area following a combined response from the community, the police, and reprisals from Hell's Angels. From that point on, biker jackets were banned in the Freetown. Okay. It's free, but you can't wear biker jackets. In 89, the Danish Parliament legalized the town. April 2005, a gang shot and killed a man in Christiania and injured 3 others in an incident related to Christiania's cannabis trade. So, still got some pockets of cannabis trading going on. Okay, police went in, responded, demolished the building. Everyone got pissed off. And 2016 shooting end of Pusher street stalls. A person believed by police to be carrying earnings from cannabis sales shot 2 police officers and a civilian after being stopped. The injuries of one of the officers who was shot in the head were life-threatening. He survived but needed a long period of rehabilitation. While the injuries of the other victims were less serious, the police sealed off the entire neighborhood and located the perpetrator in Kastrup a few hours later. During a brief shootout with police, special intervention unit, he was seriously wounded, later died from his injuries in the hospital. Perpetrator, 25-year-old Danish citizen of Bosnian descent, here in Denmark as a child with his family, was well known to the police for violence and involved in cannabis sales. Although known to be a sympathizer with Islamic extremists, this is not considered to have played a role in his actions. Okay, Islamic drug dealer. Okay. Interesting. Pusher Street is where the open cannabis is. Huh. I never knew about this place. I knew that, like, the Hells Angels... Didn't the Hells Angels make their world headquarters in Copenhagen? That was in Copenhagen. Anyway. Interesting. Whoops, that's what I meant to do. Oh, crap. I did that. Fuck. I turned it off, monkey. I am falling apart. I'm falling apart, everybody. I even saw someone I've scooted past, like, yeah, well, then we get a double intro. And my head is like, I turned that bitch off. We don't have to worry about that. It's like 3 in a row. I am. Anyway, as a reminder, on Friday, I'm going to have Ron Erickson on. So the show will be about 2:30 p.m. Pacific time, 5:30 East Coast. We'll have Ron Erickson, who's the chairman and CEO of No Labs. He's going to come join us, and we're going to talk technology, startups, investing, short attacks, you name it. So we'll have him for Friday. And then Monday and Wednesday next week, I will be broadcasting from Whistler because I'm an idiot. And when my friends were like, hey, we're going to do a Whistler trip on these dates, my brain makes all the numbers up in my head, and I booked for the 4 days before everyone arrives. So I'm going to Whistler by myself. Woohoo! Expect a lot of table for one, please, at all the restaurants in Whistler. But you know what? Skiing, you go downhill and sit in a chairlift, and maybe I'll meet some friends on the chairlift. I don't know. But, it's midweek. It'll be like Australians and trust fund people. So, maybe someone will take me to dinner while I'm there. But, I did turn it off, right? No, I still hadn't turned it off yet. Okay, turn you off. There we go. Oh, almost tripled introed myself by talking about how what a pathetic loser I am for not clicking the intro off. It is off. The nighttime one, everything's off. We're cool. Okay. Got struck by Copenhagen. William Morgan says GME $18.17. That's too low. It should be higher. Chuma Uyamadu. Are there any deadlines for a response from the judge in Rosa's case against FINRA? The only deadline is that he's basically has to like go onto a official piece of paper within 90 days of all the filings being entered. So there's another 50 days or so before that happens. It could be a while. So as someone pointed out the last show, that there's tons of other cases on his docket. They got to focus on the ones that are in front of them, and it's just that is prerogative, man. That is prerogative. Lazy Wizard, any thoughts on Bed Bath & Beyond Houston? So many FTDs, short interest rising, heavy barcoding, yet the stock is being suppressed. Is that what I'm trying to say? Suppressed. I think just like if we ignore the terrible financials of Bed Bath & Beyond, which are just garbage, absolutely just dog shit. If we ignore that, right, and we just focus on the short interest being at like 99%, 100%, somewhere in there. That's reported short interest. That's not like, make-believe stuff. You have this many institutional owners, this many insiders, and you got this free float, and over 99% of it is short interest. That alone could push for a squeeze. Now, if all of a sudden Bed Bath & Beyond doesn't figure their stuff out, and they go, oh crap, go file for bankruptcy, we're toast, and they get pushed to the pink sheets and go to Q stock and then get bounced around in the export market, then we'll never see anything come of it. But if all the rumors and speculation are true about Ryan Cohen and Carl Icahn going in together to gobble up Bed Bath & Beyond, break out baby from it, and fix the entire financials of the whole company, then all of a sudden it's a $40 stock. So, I mean, they do billions a year in sales. They won't be able to do as much as they did before because they closed 20% of their stores, which reminds me of someone was all mad at me because I said closing 20% of retail stores will probably result in 20% less in revenue. And they're like, you're so full of crap. And not understanding that you build stores according to economic geography as to like how much can one store be supported by the community you put the store in. Granted, if you put too many in everywhere, you can dilute the sales of other stores. But they closed in these specific locations. And this person told me I was full of crap. And then I showed them that they had lost exactly like 19.7% of their revenue after they closed those 20% of stores. So, that's what happens. I have personally a bunch of calls for April 21st for Bed Bath & Beyond, $5 calls. And I don't know. My gut tells me something weird's going to happen in the next month and a half. And that's based on nothing except this time of year, weird stuff happens. Weird stuff seems to happen in March. And I am all for weird stuff happening. I don't know what T35 is for that weird spike we had in January. Should be coming up, right? When was that? BBBY. Okay, that weird spike was February 6th. So T35 would probably be at the end of this month, right? Okay. And of course, we had our weird August thing. We had two spikes. We had one January 12th, went to 524, then it bottomed out again, then went to 586 February 6th. So we had 2 bumps in a 1 month period, and it's been just a steady cruise downhill ever since. I don't know. The weird stuff seems to happen in March. So I did it again. Why am I? Oh, because I wasn't. My brain keeps thinking I'm showing you this stuff, and I'm not, because I'm not at all. Okay, there we go. Let's do that. That's where we okay. But these are our two little blips. There's quite the down right there. Now, buck 31 was lowest, and we're at buck 30 right now. So we're at the lowest low in the last 6 months. Or last forever. This is the lowest it's ever been. Okay. Well, since 1992. It's lowest since 1992. Never been this low before. Okay. Man, they had spikes when they were $79 in 2013. Holy smokes. People loved their bath towels then, didn't they? Okay. But if they don't have a way of getting out of the debt spiral and they have to declare bankruptcy and they go to the pink sheets, it's probably over. If they are forced to do the right thing by activist investors like Carl Icahn and Ryan Cohen, then I think, those $5 calls will pay off, especially if it happens before April 21st, which is when they expire that I have. Okay. William Morgan, Amendment 2P has proven no margin calls will be issued. They're not going to allow squeezes on so-called meme stocks. Shareholders need to sue. I do think that there probably needs to be a lot of lawsuits leveled against everyone who's a short seller. But that costs a lot of money that the retail investors don't necessarily have. So I don't know how we'd fund such lawsuits in the end. Because what we need is the discovery. We need their cell phone records, their algorithms, their trades, all that stuff that they're doing. We need the documents of it. And if we do get to the point we can sue, they're going to flood you with so much information that you can't even process it. 11,000 boxes of files. That's what they'll send to you. How do you go through 11,000 boxes of files? If it's one person, it's going to take them decades. If it's hundreds of people, it's going to cost millions of dollars. So, I don't know. Monkey, do you know? She doesn't know. She can't read. So, Adventures with Hunter. I'm boycotting AMC Theaters. Adam Aaron liquidated shares, well below market value. As a public company, he has responsibility to shareholders. How is he still in charge? I don't know. Chris Ark, Jupa kill the computer again? No, it was the human this time. I somehow, when I set down my phone, set it on the keyboard and not the desk, and it just turned off my live stream. Just like end stream, boop. Probably an enter key. An enter key, the last thing I clicked was probably start stream, and that's how you die. Nate Diesel. Hey, Houston. What religion, ideology, cult do you think got it the most wrong? Man, got it the most wrong. I would chalk up any suicide as ones who have it the most wrong. Jonestown guys, your Heaven's Gate people, which apparently I was told the Heaven's Gate website's still up. Yeah, Heaven's Gate website's still up. Check this out. It's still up. I don't know who's paying for the hosting, but has not been updated since 1997. You'd think that if they successfully made their way onto the Hale-Bopp Comet spaceship thing, that they would have been able to come back and update their website or something, but it hasn't been updated yet. Pretty much anyone who joins a suicide cult, I think, has it wrong. If you have to kill yourself in order to bring about the next level of whatever, get your 72 virgins or what have you, then I think you're just doing it wrong. Treat the life you have on Earth as your only one, and then be pleasantly surprised in the afterlife if there is one. It's just a hedging your bets type thing. But yeah. Oh, Heaven's Gate. Wonder if I emailed rep@heavensgate.com if I would actually get anybody. We can still order their book for $45. There you go. Cool. I mean, it's been 26 years, and this website looks like it. It looks like the first website I made in GeoCities. Ooh, what type of background am I going to select? I almost like this background. To Kate Happy birthday, Houston. How much money do you have to have in a brokerage account to be approved for options trading? I don't think you have to have any. You just have to tell them your experience and that you understand there's risk. And what else? That's some other questions in there. They're like to make sure that you know what you're doing. But I don't think you have to have a certain amount of money in your options in your account to be approved for options trading. You sort of just have to be like, yes, I agree with the terms and conditions. Yes, I'm a real human being. Yes, I understand there's risk. This is my experience. Blank, and then they go, okay, you can trade options. Guitar stuff. I think my coordinates are shadow banned. Why does that keep happening? YouTube, why does that keep happening? I don't know. I'm getting fewer and fewer coordinates as the days go on, and I don't know why that is. Some people can send them. Some people send lots, and others cannot. I don't know what the reason is. Okay. Okay, I've lost my spot again. All right, there we are. Okay. William Morgan. Should kill the computer. Guitar stuff. There we are. Okay. My meme worked? Julianne, Houston. Got a call from my insurance company today, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and they were telling me about everything they can provide help with, like paying utilities and rent. What gives? I don't know. Did you make a claim recently, or are they just like, hey, citizen, I'm gonna tell you all these wonderful things that we will supposedly do for you. I mean, I had Blue Cross Blue Shield when I got hit by a car, and because I was taken to Scripps Hospital, UCSD, and not the private hospital that was 5 blocks from my house, they didn't pay for it because it was a non-preferred provider, which now would be like in-network, whatever stuff, or out-of-network. So such a dog. I don't know, man. I guess they're trying to jump on the Aflac bandwagon. Isn't Aflac the one that does like that weird bridge insurance for helping you pay if you're out of work from your injuries or health insurance stuff? Why are you staring at me like this? It's so weird. You just sit there and just stare. Don't you have bones that chew on or something? What, dog? What? We're in a staring contest right now. I'm staring at her. She's staring at me. Neither of us are blinking. What is it, dog? What is it? What is it? Oh, you looked away. I win. I win, you freak. Okay. Come here. Come on. Come and say hi. All right. Let's read the next question together, shall we? That was Julianne. Scott M., I have one for you. Before Mount Rushmore was carved, its natural beauty was unprecedented. Oh. J-Dog, 20 days till home opener versus Cleveland. All right, we'll make sure it's just bitterly cold, because we keep having home openers against Cleveland. Either it's freezing cold here or it's freezing cold in Cleveland. How many years have we opened in Cleveland? It's like snowed on us. Several in the past few. SDR, special drawing right. Okay. I don't know what that is. Special drawing rights is an international reserve asset created by the IMF to supplement the official reserves of its member countries. SDR is not a currency. It is a potential claim on the freely usable currencies of IMF members. Okay, so SDR sounds kind of like a warrant. Or like a placeholder for currencies. I don't think we'd be doing away with the US dollar for the SDR. So the SDR is worth about $1.34. Looks like. All right. Well, I don't think it would be used to replace anything. I think it's just used for the member states that deal with IMF to like do their trades. Decatur Raw, Houston, we have a problem. Can you explain the Bank of America Ninja Loan Program? I went online and searched their site for bank-owned properties, and there was one dilapidated property for $500K. Crazy. If you don't know what ninja loans are, that's no job, no income, no assets. So basically, you get a loan. This is what they called the adjustable rate mortgages from 2006, 7, 8, when people were able to get houses just making crap up on their mortgage applications. Yeah, I make $400,000 a year. Yeah, I've got a Ferrari, whatever. And then like, oh, you're approved for $1 million house at 1% interest for the next 2 years. It'll balloon to 5 billion % interest, and you're gonna lose everything. But for those 2 years, it'll be grand. Those are the ninja loans. The Bank of America program that I think you're talking about is the one that's specifically for, I believe, minority folks in neighborhoods which are traditionally redlined. I don't think they're necessarily ninja loans as much as Bank of America covers the down payment on the loan. And so if you're in Central District in Seattle. I don't think it's come to Seattle yet, but if you're in the Central District in Seattle, which was a traditionally redlined neighborhood in Seattle, you could get this Bank of America loan if you are an underrepresented minority to buy a home or a business or whatever in the Central District in Seattle, and Bank of America would cover the down payment on that loan. I think it's something they may have had to negotiate due to civil rights lawsuits against them for supporting redlining. If you guys don't know what redlining is, there used to be maps in cities, and they would literally draw a red line around certain areas and say anyone inside that red line cannot be approved for a bank loan. So this was generally the ghetto, places that minorities were packed into, and they wouldn't let them be approved for loans. So they couldn't buy property inside their neighborhoods. So there was no generational wealth to pass on to their kids. And it was a great way to sort of subjugate an oppressed minority for a long period of time. Because as long as you keep them from having money, you keep them from having power. And a lot of covenants and housing developments were written, a black person can't buy this home. So you get a deed, like you buy a home in a development, and your deed for that development would say, like, you cannot sell this home to anyone except another white Christian. And so if you had sold that home to someone else, the deed could be made null and void by the covenant, by the easement that the developer had on that property. So there's entire cities. Portland was a city who had that all over the place. So my guess is that Bank of America with these particular loans is the result of negotiations based on lawsuits that they were a party to, or a defendant to, I should say. Yeah. True. If we make a lot of money off MOAS, but then banks collapse, won't we be screwed either way. That is why you go to your person. Once you get a bunch of money, you go to the personal banker at your bank and you say, "Hey, I'm a rich SOB. You know how to do all sorts of things for me," and they will set up bank accounts that are all linked, right? So if let's say you have $20 million in cash, right, and each FDIC account is insured at $250,000. So that means 4 accounts for every $1 million. And you're going to have to make 20 of those, or you have 20 million accounts, right? So you have to make 80 accounts. So your bank will make 80 bank accounts that all max out at $250,000 that all draw from one account. And that way, each one of those accounts is insured for the $250,000 from the government. So if the bank does collapse, the government has to pay out on every single solitary one of those $250,000 accounts. So that's how you do it. You talk to if you ever get rich, talk to your private banker. They have systems set up for rich people who are like, if your bank collapses, what do I do? And they go, I got you. Because that's their job. They have to get you because they need the rich people. I bring Scott on camera. Scott ran away. Stephen Lewis Houston, I think you missed out a few shows ago by not renaming Shilpa Batman to Oppenheimer Destroyer of Shows. MacroTurf, Silvergate is selling everything. That's what I heard. Silvergate Bank. It's from Bloomberg Business. Silvergate Bank announces intent to wind down operations, enter voluntary liquidation after the crypto industry's meltdown prompted the firm to evaluate its status. Yep, they done, son. So they're going to shut down everything. They're MacroTurf. Milvin Lopez. What do you think is going to be the outcome of Rose's lawsuit? When do you think we're going to have a response from the judge? I mean, there's what I think the lawsuit result should be, which is the judge will read everything and go, oh, yeah, FINRA, show us your books. That's the easiest ruling he can make. And he can put a qualifier in that ruling and say, show us your books. And if they don't match how many shares should exist, I may have to make another ruling. And so I think the easiest thing the judge can do is just say, you know, it's FINRA, show us your books. Rosa has shown precedent that you can be forced to show your books in this case, in cases. She's also shown evidence that you have definitely put your thumb on the scale when it comes to things like arbitration. And in the particular stance, this one stock that wasn't supposed to trade, you let trade. And then when the company, the issuer, was like, hey, why is this trading? You're like, tough shit. Kind of shows that you weren't doing your job as a regulator. So I think that is the likely outcome. The lazy outcome would be him being like, they've got immunity. And he just goes from there, which would be inaccurate. And then Rosa would have to file in the Court of Appeal. And then it's going to go between a panel of folks. And that panel of folks, someone in there is going to be much more judicious in reviewing the material. And they're going to go, wait a minute. No, this organization has been successfully sued before. Go back to the lower court, amend your ruling lower court. And then the judge in the lower court's going to go, grr. So that's what I think. And when? No clue. Not a damn clue. It's up to the judge's prerogative. It doesn't seem like he's in a hurry to do any of it. Daniel Motes Houston, I've spent over 500 hours listening to you this past year. Welcome to being my best friend. Oh. Parasocial relationships are strong. Drunit, anyone think GTI will squish or squeeze? I've been trying to read up on what's happening with Alpine. So Alpine is a predatory lender from what I understand, and that they are about to blink out of existence because everyone's defaulting on their loans to them. Does that sound right? And a lot of those loans have to do with stuff that was used to short GTII. I mean, cool if it pops some more. Elegantly wasted, going from big ISDA banks to our local credit unions will literally change our country like we've never seen. I would love to be at a credit union, but the only credit union we had in my town closed and went like 30 minutes away. So I don't have any credit unions near me, which is a pain in the ass. I would like to have a credit union somewhere that I could get to from my house within a few minutes. But, J-Dog, 6 days until Pi Day. It is 6 days until Pi Day. What are you folks doing for Pi Day? Also known as Steak and Blowjob Day. But we don't have to worry about that. Pi is better. Ryan Anderson, my wife is from Sri Lanka. I leave on the 25th to go there for a month. Well, tell us what it's like, Ryan. I'll report back. I want to know what it's like on the ground. My only friend from Sri Lanka hasn't been back in years. So he you know, as I tried to ask him, like, what's happening for everyone? He was like, oh, well, you know, sounds like they're struggling. His family has a tourmaline mine, and so I don't know if they're able to export their tourmaline and get hard currency and do a little bit better than the rest of the folks. I'll have to ask him, man. I'll have to ask Sudith what's going on. But yeah, Ryan, report back to me what's going on there, what it's like. I assume that since you're an American with hard currency, that you and your wife will be able to go back and like live like a king and queen for a month under the current circumstances. But let me know. I want to know. Drew, glad to not TRKA as the Troika, right? People were telling me all about the Troika thingy, TRKA, and I was like, oh, interesting. And then at one pop, I mean, it did pop a little bit. It was at 12 cents, went all the way up to 77 cents on Monday, and then collapsed since then. It's halved since then. So it had its pop. It did it. So yeah, 10 cents was the lowest it was. So it went up 7x. Not too bad. But looks like it might be over. So it was down here. People talking about it in like January. But yeah, 10 cents in December. Had its pop on Monday at 77 cents. And then right back down again. Julianne, Investor Place, said the top 3 meme stocks to sell in March are AMC, Bed Bath & Beyond, and GME. Does anyone listen to these clowns anymore? You just get rid of them. So March is a great time to do it. Even though every March we've had a crazy spike in volatility and price. Hey, that's why I got those calls. I'm sitting and waiting. Elegantly wasted, Kenny G's crypto bank Silvergate had a $50 billion short put on it by George Soros, from my understanding. That's hilarious. No idea about the validity of that, but that's still funny nonetheless. Artemis HB, happy birthday, Houston. At the risk of having my heart broken, what are your thoughts on Isaac Asimov? I'm a huge fan of his work, and the guy was insanely smart. I believe he wrote over 400 books in his lifetime. I've enjoyed all of Isaac Asimov's books. I think he was one of those. I can't quite remember clearly, but I think he was one of those folks that sort of got Me Too'd. That he was actually kind of like a sexual predator. Let me see if I'm right about that. Isaac Asimov. Okay. Yeah, so apparently he definitely was like a sexual assaulter and did lots of sexual harassment. That's what it looks like. He groped ladies, he did lots of things. So while he may have written amazing stories, it sounded like he was a dirty old man. Isaac Avzov's proclivity for groping women was so widely known. The chair of Icahn wrote a letter. Oh, what's this one? Okay. Chair Icahn wrote inviting him to give a lecture on the power of posterior pinching. Okay, so that's quite ridiculous. But I mean, I've enjoyed his books. I don't like the idea. I only learned about him being gross a couple of years ago. I didn't know any of that stuff. Yeah. So, sound like he definitely was way too upfront with a bunch of women. That's what I'm gathering from these things. That's, that's all. Take with that what you will. I mean, I after learning about Bill Cosby, I really didn't have any taste to watch the Cosby Show or his movies or listen to his comedy albums anymore, even though they were my childhood. It's hard for me to separate the art from the artist in lots of those situations. Again, be stronger than your lizard brain. It's not that difficult. Just don't be awful. That should be the motto of everybody. Crap. Just reset again. It always resets. It bugs the hell out of me. Julianne. Okay, that's the joke. Decatur Raw. Julianne. There's, okay, Artemis. Okay. B-Ball 3710. What kind of price target could DRV be if real estate really hits the fan? What's realistic? Okay, let's look at DRV. DRV had like a 6% gain the other day. So DRV is like the anti real estate bubble thing. Okay, let's look at the max. So we've had no real big stuff since July 2009 when it first was created. It's been halved a whole bunch. So the equivalent price today is $300,000, which is ridiculous, right? But we can see these spikes. Let's do 5-year. So we can see there's a spike in March 2020 when the market hit the fan and everyone's like, oh no, we're going to be able to pay for anything. That $580. It is a decaying value, although we got some spike last fall at $80. It'd been as low as 30 something. It'd been low as 32. I wouldn't doubt, because this wasn't an actual collapse in the housing market. This was a brief downturn in the market due to COVID, where everyone panicked. When we see an actual like collapse in the market, I wouldn't doubt if we see prices back in this region again. When those securities and those derivatives start collapsing, definitely more than $100 for sure. Probably several hundred, be my guess, is what it will spike to and then start decaying again. Oh, Money over Mayo. Marius, I need you to do a short clip with every time Houston did double intro. It'll be funny. That's asking the poor man to spend the next like 6 years editing. It's so many of them. Fred Jones, Hells Angels do not have a world headquarters. An official national headquarters is in California. I think that doesn't seem right to me. Hells Angels global headquarters. I could have sworn I thought it was in Copenhagen. Hells Angels headquarters becoming rental apartments. Like that's East Village. That's not. I could have sworn they had like a building, pretty fancy building. Copenhagen. All right. This says their headquarters for the U.S. is in Oakland. Grenade attack at Hells Angels headquarters from 96. I thought they had a whole office building. 2 killed by grenade at Hells Angels party in Denmark. That was 96. Crazy. I'm a biker. Why did I think they had a headquarters somewhere? Why? Maybe you're right and I'm just full of crap. I'm just getting all sorts of police doing raids in the Hells Angels in Copenhagen. Maybe it was Amsterdam? I don't know. I could be totally blown out my ass. You might be right there, Fred Jones, and I'm just full of crap. I could have sworn they had a big international headquarters outside the U.S., but I don't know. I am wrong. You are right. I will say that. Riving happens. Houston, how much do you think Silvergate closing will have across the market? At this point, not that big because they're so devalued. They've lost like 97% of their value. So I think they've already been hit. I assume a lot of their debt we pushed off into those like warehouses, and they'll probably be like Washington Mutual, Lehman Brothers, etc. What holdings they do have, my guess is they'll be bid on, and people will collect that at pennies on the dollar. And there'll probably be bids by banks themselves, probably through the FDIC, and those whatever assets they got left, you know, Chase Manhattan will get for 1 cent on the dollar or something. Drew, YOLO at a $28 UVXY call from March 17th, like 4 months ago. It's not worth a damn thing. UVXY has not been doing anything, even when the market goes down. That is what's blowing my mind, is that these are inverse ETFs, and they aren't doing anything inverse, and they haven't been since March 2020. Like, they went crazy inverse March 2020 because there was like a sudden collapse of the market. But if we have a gradual one, they don't really do anything. And it's really weird how there's no volatility in these high volatility indexes. It's weird. Yours truly, when will the AMC ape conversion take place? That hasn't been announced. The counting of the votes is on March 14th, so next week on Pi Day. And then depending what the vote tally is, if the yeses have it, then they'll make an announcement as to what date, the date of record and all that stuff will be. Dubiwa, they can't update the website because they're all dead. No, Dubiwa, they're on a spaceship with aliens flying around behind a hail-bop. They're not dead in their weird white sneakers and their castrated selves. If you are going to create a cult, why not just make it a sex cult? Like the Oneida cult did it, right? The Oneida folks, the guys, the ones that make the silverware, that was a sex cult. Like, do that. That's way more fun. Just get it on like all the time. I don't understand the not getting it on and then killing yourself. That seems like a terrible way to have a cult. That's no fun. Like, where's the fun in that? If your religion isn't fun, then what's the point? Have a better cult. Julianne, I was in the ER with high blood pressure. I hope your blood pressure has gotten down since then, Julianne. And that you don't need to use your health insurance to like pay for things. But if you do, take them for everything you can. Monkey butts Jedi mind trick to make humans think he won. The side-eye dog. Side-eye dog. Yes, you are. Do the side-eye all the time. Bum, 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 bum. Chris Ham, Houston, a long-term listener, but I don't really use the chat that much. Can I ask your honest opinion on MMAT, massive holder here at the moment, with well over 20,000 shares? You can ask, but I can't talk about MMAT. So you can ask as many times as you want. That's where we are. Okay. All right. Michael Brown, Houston, if MMTLP trades again and the shorts cover more than they have liquidity for, it's possible to take those excessive owed funds from market makers or broker dealers that created the counterfeit shares. It would probably be the prime brokers of those groups who would have to pay for it. That's kind of how it works. The liability starts with the hedge fund, whoever sold, the market maker, whoever. Whoever sold the counterfeit shares, they're the prime responsibility. The thing is, they might not have enough cash to cover that. And if they don't, then if they happen to have insurance on those transactions, maybe when they took out a loan, they're required to purchase insurance on the play to get covered. Cool. Oftentimes they don't, so there might not be actual physical insurance policies for those trades. But the insurance would cover whatever it could, and then it would move to the prime broker. And the prime broker is, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, whoever, who lent to the hedge fund to make the plays. Those folks also might not have enough cash on hand to do those plays. So they may have to do some liquidations of their own, or the federal government steps in via Treasury and Federal Reserve and says, okay, we're going to bail you out. We're going to print a bunch of cash to make sure that everyone gets paid on this stuff, which is what they did in 08, 09, and in 2020, was they paid for all those bad bets. So that's just sort of the ladder of liability that they're on. Michael Brown, just don't want payment in lieu. Me neither, man. I want something much meatier than that. Just take a bite out of. Honey Horse, did you see the alien technologies? Oh, crap. I didn't look up the alien technologies guy. No, I haven't seen it yet. Sorry. I should do that, but I haven't done that. Maybe they should just lower my premium. Yes. Yes, Julianne. They should lower everyone's premium. Am I caught up? Holy crap, I'm caught up. Well, that's it. We're all caught up, folks. Honey Horse, why can't you talk about MMAT? Because I was asked not to talk about them since my brother works for them. So they said, please stop talking about MMAT material. So I said, okay, I'll stop talking about them. So I don't talk about them. What else you guys got? I'm at the end of the chat. I'm done. Was there anything in the beginning of the previous chat that I didn't get to see because I accidentally closed my own show after 30 seconds? Because, awesome. I mean, we could kill some time. I'll let you guys think there, and I will make the crinkly sounds. Yeah. Oh, yeah? Is that what's happening? Okay. Crinkly sounds have been made. We have a very excited creature here. Very excited. Woo! Smell that jerky. Is this what you want? Yes. Yes, but here. Yeah, get it from the camera. There you go. Then we can see your chompers. How about that one? Want to get that one right there? What a great view that is. It's Jaws. Okay. Yeah, that's it. You got it all. Good job. You ate food. Congratulations. Okay. Sorry if my cords don't work. Could you search Anahuac Crater? Is this the one in Quebec? Boom. Oh no, this is in Kamchatka. Anahuac Crater. Well, this is a giant volcano. What this sucker is. This is a huge volcano. When we can talk about it, it looks like a super volcano to me. That's a giant crater. How big across is that sucker? 6.5 miles across. Okay. All right. Anahuac Crater. Area proclaimed national monument, December 1978, as a national monument preserved. Blah 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 blah. Least visited unit in the Russian National Park System. Okay, tell me more. Tell me more. Remote location, difficult weather. Area proclaimed national monument. 1 core national monument land encompasses 6-mile wide Anahuac Crater. The high point of the caldera rim is Anahuac Peak. The lake within the crater, Surprise Lake, is the source of the Anahuac River. Multiple streams and rivers within the caldera flow into Surprise Lake to form it. In addition to Surprise Lake, the other prominent feature inside the caldera is Vent Mountain. Okay, 1931 eruption. Description, geology. Monument and preserve include 4 major physiographic regions. The monument is centered in the mountains of the Aleutian Range. And Anahuac Crater, the volcano's caldera, presents an active park. Mountain spines. Caldera is once partly filled by a crater lake, covered 50% of the little crater. Not saying anything about supervolcano. Prehistory. Come to light. Recent archaeological evidence found national park. Not giving me the geology of how that sucker formed. I would like to know more. Back to Google Earth. But like, that's a huge crater. That thing's gigantic. You look at other volcanic craters. I don't think Crater Lake's that big across. That's 6.5 miles. We go to Crater Lake. I bet Crater Lake isn't even close that big. Bring. Gotta go to Southern Oregon. Here's Crater Lake. How big are you across, buddy? Oh, it's 5.5 miles, so it's a little bit bigger than Crater Lake. That's still okay. But that was a cataclysmic eruption that created Crater Lake about 6,000 years ago. Like, enough that it, affected weather systems and things. I would not doubt that an eruption of this volcano would do similar. Mount Rainier lost its top at one time. We don't know how long ago. And had a similar disappearance of it. Yeah. So, I mean, beyond that, I don't know anything else about this volcano. It's an illusion chain. It's a volcano. It's remote. There you go. Julianne got some degrees here, some spots here. 39,174 east. Where are we going here? Going down to Australia? Going down to New Zealand? Where are we? New Zealand. Oh, this volcano. Yeah. Here's a volcano. Mount Taranaki. So the interesting thing about this volcano was it basically went to the peak and they drew a circle around it and they made that the national park. And you can see like how much deforestation has happened for all the farmland and everything all around it and what the old forest looks like in comparison. It's pretty incredible. And they got some forests on these other cinder cones that could pop off of it as well. But pretty crazy looking, isn't it? So, like, look how much forest just got eaten up and turned into all these farms and ranches. These are all like sheep farmers and growing wheat and stuff. This is all forest. Basically, the creeks are the only remaining forests along this entire thing. The rest of it has all been torn down, the stumps pulled up. It's so drastic to look at, isn't it? It's crazy. It's a perfect circle. Just wild. And I think there's some groups that donated land. Like, okay, when I die, you can have this land back from the national park. Because you can see, like, this foliage here is newer than the old growth stuff, but they're allowing it to fill in. So looks like slowly folks in the area are donating their land to the park and increasing the size of the park. But you can see, like, you can see the line where the new growth is versus the old growth. It's very weird looking though, isn't it? Joseph Leo, do you think MMTOP will end in a settlement or reopen trading? I don't think FINRA will settle anything. I think they're going to have to be forced either by the SEC, Congress, or the courts to do something. I don't think they'll voluntarily do the right thing in any way, shape, or form without being forced to. Siebes88, Houston. I'm recently homebound on disability. Living in my ex's basement. I've been swing trading, but I need more consistent income. Thinking of trading futures. Any input? I don't trade futures, so I don't know what input I could give you while you're sitting at home. Monkey, do you have anything you could tell them? Monkey doesn't trade futures either, so she can't help you. She does trade in ear scratches, though, so that does help. Let's go GeoGuessr. But yeah, right now, like, I'm making very few options plays at the moment. I've got my Bed Bath & Beyond one for April 21st, just kind of as a, you know what? I think something's going to happen. But the amount of manipulation on the side of hedge funds continuing to short things and the Federal Reserve continuing to bail everyone out with their plunge protection team makes it really hard for me to actually kind of get a gut feeling as to where stuff is going to go. Because things aren't really like going up and they're not really going down. There's kind of is the general thing. And it's going without much volatility in there. And so if it's not bouncing all over the place, I don't know how to make a fortune off of futures anyway, doing that. So I'm not going to be of much help there, Siebes. Peachy Sunday wants to do GeoGuessr. I mean, I guess we can do some GeoGuessr. You want to do the 25 minutes of GeoGuessr for the last part of the show? We got one more question. Sis54, Houston, how big of a threat is China to the USA? Relations seem to be sour. Things have always been contentious. Well, China needs the USA. I'd say more than the USA needs China. Because like we can go without certain products for a while, and we definitely have the capacity to set up factories in the US or in other countries that are more friendly to us to build those things. What China has going for is they can mobilize a huge amount of people for mega factories. But because people are so cheap in China, you don't really have automation that you'd have here. So let's say a factory making TVs in China would use 100,000 people, and a factory making TVs in the US, make the same number of TVs, would need 10,000 because we have so much more automation involved because robots here are cheaper than humans in often cases. So China China rattling their sabers and trying to get Taiwan, or hemming and hawing about providing weapons to Russia against Ukraine, things like that, does not help them in the long runs, because if they don't have access to hard currency, their entire economy collapses. The only reason the Chinese yuan is worth anything is because they take in euros and dollars to make stuff for these other countries. And if they were to invade Taiwan, there'd be instant embargoes on China. Nothing would move. All those factories are shut down. And that's it. They got nothing. So, good luck, China. And, what would they have? They'd have Russia and India and South Africa. But even India needs hard currency dollars. So, and the way that rupees are set up is that you can't exchange rupees for other currencies. So like right now in Russia, India is buying a whole bunch of Russian oil in rupees. They're buying all this Russian oil in rupees. And then Russia's like, cool, can I exchange these rupees for rubles? And all the banks are like, no, you cannot. They're like, shit. So now Russia has to figure out how to buy a whole bunch of stuff from India to be able to make this trade imbalance work, to get things of value from India. So now India is selling Russia a whole bunch of stuff now that their economy wouldn't have been able to sell before. So essentially, India is kind of getting all the Russian oil for free at this point. I would look at like India doing something, because they're a BRICS country. So I'd look at India doing exactly the same thing to China. Basically being like, oh, China's our little bitch now. China, you have all these embargoes against you. Maybe you should pull back from that disputed region in the Tibet. And China had to pull back, and India could claim claims. So I don't think China would be negotiating from any point of strength if they decided to try and invade anyone. And I think China also is, they've got eyes and ears. They've seen the same videos we have. They've seen Russian tech get absolutely shredded by 1980s US technology, NATO technology. And I don't think they actually want a conflict. The 3 of the 4 largest air forces in the world are American. Like, our smallest air force is bigger than any other air force on Earth. And, so I just wouldn't, I wouldn't want to pluck that ire, as it were. Andrew Freeman, A, wants a yes vote. What's the worst case for hedge funds? Yes or no, and why? I think hedge funds make out fine either way. I think Adam Aaron would rather sell AMC stock than Ape stock. But if he gets a no, he'll just dump a bunch of Ape stock. He'll dump 5 billion shares of it and get his $5 billion that way. What he'd rather do, I think, is drop 100 or 200 million AMC shares. Either way, I think hedge funds make out like a bandit. I think that they'll have controlling votes in the company, and they're probably gonna do just fine there. China has balloons though. Citizen 54, China versus USA, fisticuffs, who wins? Our military is massive, but China's terrain is a logistical nightmare. I don't think if the US and China ever get in a war, I don't think either of them would be putting boots on the ground. It'd be entirely an air war. And in that sense, the US has an advantage in that we have military bases up and down their coast, and China doesn't have any military bases up and down our coasts. So it sounds like they're trying to put one perhaps in Nicaragua, but even then, that's pretty far away. And we've got 13,000 fixed-wing aircraft, and they've got 2. So I'd say advantage U.S. U.S. carrier groups, much bigger, nuclear-powered, not dependent upon oil or coal or any of that stuff. I don't think war is healthy for anybody involved there. I think it's going to result in lots of death unnecessarily. I think it's best to just not rattle sabers and let Taiwan be Taiwan. That's my opinion. Just let Taiwan be Taiwan, man. Okay, let's do one round of GeoGuessr. Why not? Why not? Okay, GeoGuessr. It'll force us to do a quick one, right? I got to go there. Got to go there. Let's do it, folks. Okay, single player. Maps. World play. Okay. I want, oh, no time limit. Oh, I can't do no time limit. Oh, it put me a time limit and I was like, what the hell's going on? I don't like time limits. I like to be able to play whatever the hell I play. Okay. All right. This looks like the UK to me right off the bat. Roundabout. You got English logo. I can't remember what that says. That's too blurry. Maybe I do one step this way. Nope. If I go right there. Oh, the sign's gone all of a sudden. We go way over here. Town center. So the A422. Bring. Wah, cha. Go with A422. I got it's M's. We want A429, 419, 420. 422. You're going to be in here somewhere. I got to put this on my bigger screen. Womp. Oh, that's the big one. There we go. Okay. That means I have to put Streamlabs over yonder. Come on. Over to this screen. There we go. Okay. And also means I need to adjust. Whoa. Yes, I got to temporarily adjust this guy. Whoop. 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 There we go. Okay. Can I make that a little bigger? Boom. Okay. Town center is Waffle House. So looking for the A422. I just zoomed in too far. And we got the A420, 29, 29, 40, 40. Somewhere in here. A422. It's going to be somewhere in here. That's 19, right? That's 19. That's 20. The UK does a pretty good job of numbering their roads out here. Much better than France, that's for sure. There's Japan. France and Japan are just chaos. Their road numbering system makes no sense whatsoever. 404, 433. So it's 434, 38, 29, 38, 48, 49, 37. It's got to be in that region. 42. Yeah, these are all the 400s are right in that area. Right in this area, southern England. 29, 29, 29, 4, 29, 23 here. Oh, that's 423, 425, 26, 28. Ooh, where are you? Where are you, you squirrely little squirrel? 26 still. That's the A14s. It says get A5s there, A6 is above. There's 23. Oh, there's 422. Okay. 422 is a short little guy. So we're going to be Middleton Cheney or Brackley. So, so I forgot what that sign was. The other one was a B. B4100. So we look for B4100 off of this. Okay, so that's the 422. And B425. B. Some of them they don't label it the B roads. Some of them they just have the names on them. 426. I want 41, baby. Show me that 41. Show me that 41. Is that town center? Okay. Town center's 2 clicks. Those signs are all the ones saying roundabout. What is this road? You are Highlands. Okay. It's roundabout. Oxford. Not that roundabout. What other roundabouts we got around here? Buckingham, not that roundabout. Oh, that's 843. Okay, and roundabouts, nya. Roundabouts there. And roundabouts, nya. No roundabouts along here. Okay. Dog training barn. You got a barn where you can train dogs. That's for you, man. Mansion Hill. B42425. Okay. If we continue round and roundabout, what's this sign? Ooh, looks like a decent road signs here. Harwick Estate, Town Center. Harwick Estate, Middle Cheney, Lower Cheney, Northrop, Farthinghoe, Brackley. Okay, I don't see any estates in there, unless there's a 422 that extends elsewhere, which sometimes they're jerks and they do that. I'll make it quick. I'm just going to throw it down somewhere in there. I'm going to go, oh, another side. There's a 422 over here? That's 422, you liars. Whatever, close enough. 4 miles. All right. This looks like Europe. Miasto Otoware. Otowart. You Paderweskigo 2. Okay. What are we thinking? Poland? What do you say, sign? Give me a .pl in here. Gaznet, Ginnewesk, Wow. Oh, dirt. Babies. Dirt and babies. There's a big road. Let's go this guy. Okay. Ooh, kebab. Computery. There might be a Kiernerganeria. Don't see any. Give me that .pl so I know if I'm in Poland or not. Sometimes road signs will tell me too. Rondo. Blue signs. That Poland doesn't use blue signs. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to throw it in Poland. I'm not going to bother you. I'm not going to bore you guys. Somewhere in Poland. Yeah. Yay, we're in Poland. Yay. Okay. This looks like Merca. Last Wednesday of the month. Don't park there. We're going to sweep the street. Okay. It's cold. It's lots of deciduous trees. Looks like the road ends that way. That's not through street, so we'll go this way. Okay. We're now in spring. We just left fall and winter. We're now in spring, and there's a real road down there. That's what we want. This will be, if we're lucky, it'll be like U.S. something or other. Whoa, garbage truck. We're in Missouri. Figured that out. Bridgeton, Missouri. So I don't know where Bridgeton, Missouri is, but I'll say there. I don't know. Oh, right by St. Louis. Boom, done. Missouri. Tropical. Dirt. Red dirt. Very wet. Looks kind of like a miserable road. This person hanging on for dear life up here. Usually don't go up the mountain, but I saw buildings, so look at this. Look at that turkey right there. Look at that turkey. Look at all those. Those like guinea fowl? What are those things? Those are baby turkeys. Those guinea fowl are loud as hell. Okay, Norman Bonilla. We are in the Philippines. Bum, 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 bum. What island? Not a clue. I'm going to guess that island. Ah, wrong island. That's okay. We're in the Philippines anyway. And cemetery. We're in a cemetery. That's depressing. It's the second time it's dropped me off in a cemetery. How do I get out of the cemetery? Do I get out that way? Let's just take me around the cemetery more. I don't want to be in a cemetery. I want to get out of the cemetery. Can I read any of these headstones? Can I figure out, like, who lies here? Ugent Gene Stewart. So Gene Stewart's there. So that tells me we're an English-speaking area. Got red, white, and blues on stuff. So my guess is Merca. Let's get somewhere out of the cemetery. Okay, it does look like Merca. But where in Mercaro? It's a lot of mobile homes. Got a real road. Those always help. Real road. Green Acres Cemetery. Green Acres Cemetery. Something about the Cascade. What's that say? Welcome to the historic Cascade. Statesville. Ashley. Okay. Historic Cascade. Now, I don't see anything that suggests this would be Washington, so it's not Cascade Mountains. Some other chapel, Zion service. That doesn't help me. I want to go this way. This looks like the better road. The better road. A lot of train tracks. A lot of road going on. Let's see here. Come on, it's last one. Last one. We just want to be able to get like the right state or something. The Adams. More trains. They love their trains. Got a power outlet. Got a power outlet. Got a power outlet. It's like a 70 something area code. I should memorize my area code. Junction what? Was that? Junction 150. Okay, that's just going to be like a state road or something. Wait. Sign. Statesville, Lincolnton, Salisbury. Well, that doesn't help me. How many of those places are? Wait, 77. 77 north. 77 north, 77 south. 77 north and south. Okay, I-77 is going to be on the opposite side of the country. I-75. I-75. I-77. So, that goes from Charlotte on down. So we're going to be in South Carolina or we're going to be in North Carolina. I'm going to take a guess. I'm going to say North Carolina. Hey, all right. Woo, we got it. Yay. All right. I did pass billboards. Guess North Carolina do it for the kids. There we go. So we didn't spend a lot of time doing it, trying to get our perfect scores, but pretty darn good. Got the right country, got the right country, right country, right country. That's all we care about. Okay. That was fun. Now I need to move that back to here, move this back to there, and readjust this whole stupid thing because that's how we do. Whoop, whoop. There we go. All right. Yay. Oh yeah, and then you need to be crud. Sorry, I'm reorganizing my desktop here. Bam, there we are. All right. Okay. Big Houston. There, we spent 15 minutes having fun on GeoGuessr. So if you guys hang out on Twitch, I do that, but I'm much more exact. I like to shoot for the perfect score rather than just like getting the general vicinity. I like being within like a yard of where I'm supposed to be. Okay. Any interesting findings on the Webb telescope? I mean, the most recent stuff I saw was that they're doing these ultra deep fields and finding way more deep field objects than they ever thought existed before, which is cool. Knucklehead, how you see the man? Hi, Knucklehead. It would be Nominal, Bulgaria. That's a Red Dwarf reference. If you guys don't know what Nominal is, it's from there. Went through a white hole where time was going backwards, and they end up in Nominal, Bulgaria. I was letting myself a good Red Dwarf reference. Lieutenant Dan says he did not recommend this location. Is this Mount Johnson, North Carolina? Looks like you were right about North Carolina. You got it. Let's talk about ancient galaxies. I mean, what would you like to talk about ancient galaxies? Basically, universe went blah. It was so hot nothing could exist in like tangible form. Eventually, it cooled off. The quarks and the things that made up atoms were able to combine and form atoms. And those atoms were able to combine and form compounds and clouds and stuff. And those clouds collapsed in on themselves and made stars. Giant clouds collapsed into themselves, made a whole bunch of stars and made galaxies. And then we've been coasting ever since, really. So there you go. There's ancient galaxies. Houston, enter the Pete Road. Michael Mystery, I thought orthopedic insoles wouldn't help, but I stand corrected. Jason Blackwell, do you see what you've done? Do you see what you've turned the entire chat into? And I also noticed that I lost like 100 viewers by playing GeoGuessr. They're like, I'm out. All right. Well, there you go. For the dwarfs. Are all galaxies ancient? That's true. All galaxies are pretty much ancient. They all seem to date back to about 13.8 billion years ago. And I don't know how you find one newer than that, Monkey. Do you know? Do you know? Or do you just have a rubby butt? Did you know you're made of stardust? Huh? Did you have any idea that your little monkey butt is made of stardust? Me too. So are all of you. So is the computer and the camera and the light and the walls. Everything here is made of stardust. Billions and billions. Okay. That's just about it for me. Anyone else got anything in there to throw at me? Or shall I just peace out Girl Scout for the rest of the evening here? Just a reminder, again, Friday, 2:30 p.m. Pacific, we will have Ron Erickson of No Labs, Chairman and CEO of No Labs, come on here. And he's just going to lay it down for us. Tell us about tech, tell us about being an angel investor and a VC and CEO and all these things and whatnot. Where's Monkey Butt Snack? Monkey Butt already got our snack, Julianne. We can't give Monkey Butt too many snacks. She only gets enough to keep her just cuddly. Yeah. I love Elon more than Houston loves any. I love Houston more than Elon loves any of his children. That's not saying much at all. Says before, I want to see alien life before I go. I don't mean Floridians. It would be interesting. I remember, you guys remember the movie Alien Nation? Not the crappy TV show that came out for a little while afterwards, but the movie itself. Now, originally, I was 8 years old, living in Japan. My dad takes us to the movie theater. It's a double feature. It's Major League followed by Alien Nation. I knew what Major League was because I'd seen trailers for it. I knew it was a baseball movie. I had no idea what Alien Nation is all about. Not a clue. We watched Major League immediately as an 8-year-old because it's a baseball movie. Becomes my favorite baseball movie of all time. All the adult jokes were like over my head, whatever. Next comes on Alien Nation. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. It was like April 4th, 1990. Aliens make contact and they need our help or whatever. And they show like these giant alien ships over all these cities. And then eventually the aliens are integrated in society. And then it becomes like a buddy cop movie where the aliens are essentially like street trash and have to get blown away. And there was like an insane amount of violence in like those second 5 minutes of the movie that the whole family's kind of packed me up and dragged me out of the theater. I never got to finish the movie. I was like, what is going on? There's like a shotgun blowing through a car, whatever. And so just the image really of that movie was the first contact, these huge like city-sized ships coming down. And it looked really real for an 8-year-old. So I finally, a couple years ago, I actually sat down and watched it. And my God, Alien Nation is a terrible movie. But the way I picture it is, yes, the alien ships come down. They're like, take me to your leader. And that's how we do it. If you're an alien, you're headed to Florida, that's a terrible idea. You are going to get so many bullet holes in your alien spaceship that you're not going to be welcomed by anyone. They're going to be like, oh, I'll shoot it. I'm going to make it into a coffee table. And that's how they're going to do it. So anyway, Monkey, it's 5:30. We got stuff we got to do. Right? Okay, everybody. Peace out. I'll see you Friday. And take care. Have a great one. Be good to each other. And we will welcome Ron on Friday. We'll do one of these. Wash